Hello, everyone. I'm Hannah,
And I'm Jake.
and this is our quarantine podcast. Wow, Jake, you're alive!
I am alive. I decided to get a 1 day a week job, and apparently training involves 50 hours a week for 3 months. So that's not what I intended, but I'm back to normal, and so normal, in fact, I've decided to christen this with a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Okay, I thought you were gonna. I thought you were. It is 5:01 p.m. as of recording this. I thought
Yes.
for a second you were about to have a quarantine beer.
A quarantine? I don't drink a lot, but I did. You know what I did do though? We've been talking about. Basically, we're going to tell you what we've been doing during the quarantine, and talk about all of the fun things that go on in our lives, our very very exciting lives. Can you see this? I burnt myself. Can you see that spot on my palm? That like red circle? I burnt myself, and I burnt my finger. Because I got to the part in quarantine where you start baking bread. So that happened. So I made bread. It was very good. I polished the last of that off today. Gonna have to make some more. Have you baked anything? Have you decided to put your time to good use to learn a craft? Because
No,
bread was mine.
I'm trash. My girlfriend's been over though, and she's been cooking and stuff, and that's nice.
Yeah, but she
I'm
already
trying
does
more-
that.
I know, but I'm just saying
Okay.
it's been nice having food that doesn't come out of a box.
What? You should learn how to do something.
Obviously, but clearly I'm a trash human being that'll never learn to do anything for myself. So here we are.
What about a soup? You could do soup. Soup is just stuff in there. You just make
Soup?
it. You keep it
You
warm
just-
for a long, long time, and then it makes
You
soup.
put in some wet stuff.
Yeah,
You put in some dry stuff maybe and make it
dry-ish. Yeah,
You
you
put
make
it-
it wet
wet. You put in some
Facts.
meats.
if you want to. You don't have to.
Some of those things that come out of the ground.
Beans.
I was just talking about like vegetables in general.
Yeah, but you don't have to. You could just.
Yeah.
You could put a whole chicken in some water and boil it forever, and then be soup eventually.
I think that's more just broth. You will have a broth.
Broth is soup.
I guess that's kind of like
I
saying
guess broth is soup.
it's like saying
Broth
how
is
do I
soup.
It's like saying Kix is cereal. You're technically correct, but it's like the baseline of what is acceptable for a
What?
cereal.
I don't think when I think of the baseline of cereal, I do not think of Kix. I think cornflakes.
Maybe I was thinking Pops. The ones
Pops
that are
aren't
like,
even. No, again though, you're still. Both of those are semi-sweet corn, puffy things. Cornflakes. That stops you from masturbating. That's what Dr. Kellogg taught me. And also, it's like the basic cereal.
okay.
It's the Coke of cereals.
Oh, I don't know if I'd. Okay,
What?
fine, sure.
It's like
Coke
the
in-
OG one, and not that anyone
Coke
likes
in-
it. Let's talk about cereal. How much cereal do you eat in like a week? like a
decent
month.
amount.
I
In a
eat
month?
zero.
I don't know, maybe 2 boxes.
2 boxes in a week?
Yeah, not
What?
in a week. You said in a month.
Oh, okay. Still, in
2
a month.
boxes a week. That'd be a lot of fucking cereal.
That is. I don't eat any. You ever go through that phase in life where, maybe you don't, but you ever looked at Raisin Bran and gone, you know what? I'm gonna be healthy. I'm gonna get myself some Raisin Bran, and then you get it and you eat it, and it's just dog shit.
Do I
Raisin
look
Bran
like a-
sucks.
Do I look like I've ever looked into a mirror and made a healthy decision my entire life?
You've definitely done it at least once. No,
No.
I'll pass on this today.
No, not generally.
There was
It's
a
just one
phase
bad
when healthy
decision
for
after-
you was eating half the cheeseburger. I remember this well.
Yeah,
That counts.
I don't know. I'm working on it. Eh.
Half the cheeseburger. That is
I
more
am-
healthy than eating the whole cheeseburger.
I actually have been eating more vegetables because my girlfriend
What?
is
I was gonna say.
vegan.
I would hope so.
She's vegan, so a lot of the stuff that we end up eating
Yeah.
together is like vegetable-based stuff. It's not, a lot of the vegan stuff's pretty good.
Yeah.
She made this vegan like hamburger like mac and cheese.
So like Beyond Burger.
It was like a sausage type thing that she put in it, and it was delicious. It tasted just like regular sausage. It was
Yeah.
nuts.
Depending on how you treat it, vegan food can be really, really good. A lot of people think vegan food is just like here's some salad, or here's some like oats and grains, and you just put it in a bowl and eat it. Nah, vegan food is pretty involved. I accidentally eat vegan relatively often for someone who isn't a vegan, but yeah, it just happens sometimes. Sometimes I'll be like, oops, I haven't had any animal products or animal meat in a day.
And honestly, especially since I started hormones, for those of you who don't, I feel the need to say this because so many people in the comments, every video I put out lately, have been like, "Who's Hannah?" I'm transitioning. I'm transgender.
Wait, they're just starting this out?
Yeah, I get it. We have a lot of subscribers who probably haven't seen us in a while, so that's something that's happening. Anyway, especially since I got on the hormones, like greasy anything upsets my stomach so much, so the meat substitutes are much less that.
Oh yeah.
It's really nice.
Have you had the Impossible like Whopper and stuff?
I haven't had the Whopper, but when we went out to eat last month or whenever quarantine,
right before.
Yeah, we went out at a local restaurant.
Oh yeah, you had that one.
I tried some of her Impossible Burger, and the meat's really good. Yeah, the fake meat, the schmeat. I don't know what we're gonna call it.
I don't know what it's called, but it is good. If you ever do feel like, God, I just want like a burger, I think that's a great way to go. Plus the conservatives say that has too much hormones, so it's only gonna make you more. You're gonna have bigger titties or something. I don't know what happens.
By the way, I want to address this because that is a meme that was going around like the trans meme subreddits for a while.
Yeah.
The Impossible Burgers having tons of estrogen in them.
Yeah,
and it also became a thing in like right-wing circles, like, oh, the Impossible Burgers are gonna make you transgender. First of all, that's not what that means. Just being on hormones doesn't make you transgender. But the plant estrogen that is in those burgers is it's estrogen for plants, not for humans. It does not function.
Wait a second.
It doesn't function in the human body the same way.
Are you saying plants are different than people?
They are.
In what way, though?
One has a cell wall and one has a cell membrane.
Ooh.
I learned that in school.
And then they both have the powerhouse of the
mitochondria, yes.
Why is that the thing that everybody remembers is the mitochondria?
I don't know. And they have the endoplasmic reticulum. And
a stamen? There's stamens and flowers?
Yeah.
Stamens?
I feel like, wasn't there a Billy Madison bit where they're talking about
I don't know.
mitochondria? Or no, that's photosynthesis.
Sure, maybe.
And it's the scene where he's like, "No, I will not make out with you."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My science teacher showed that clip. I remember that.
We watched Osmosis Jones in science class.
Yeah.
I learned nothing from that.
No,
Nothing.
Should you? It's not applicable in terms of like real world biology. It's just a fun.
Oh, really?
Chris Rock movie. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Chris Rock, detective fungus guy, doesn't go around.
He was a white
or
blood cell.
Whatever the fuck he was. Was
Bill
the joke?
Murray.
Wait. I'm just getting this now. Is the joke that he's a black man playing a white blood cell?
I don't think so.
Please
they may
say
have
no.
made a joke to that effect in the movie, but
right.
I like that movie because it's Bill Murray at his least trying. Does that make sense?
I've seen a lot of Bill Murray, and that's his least trying. You know what his most trying is, surprisingly?
Not Ghostbusters 2.
The movie Kingpin.
Oh, yeah, I do like
He
Kingpin.
tries so hard in that to be a dick, and it's great.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Ghostbusters 2, he was phoning that shit in. He did not want to show up.
Yeah.
Although I do like Ghostbusters 2, but we've talked about that before.
Speaking of Bill Murray, how has he not been killed by this virus?
I don't know.
I feel like he's out there. He's out there doing stuff.
He's in his home. His probably multi-million-dollar Ghostbusters SNL Groundhog's Day mansion.
Yeah, but I feel he likes to go and like watch baseball and stuff. And how did he not get got? What a guy. Maybe he's got one of the millionaire immune systems where they pump you with fetus juice or whatever, the stem cells, and you can just fight off anything.
The Magic Johnson factor.
Black?
No, rich. Rich is what I was going for.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what else have you been doing during quarantine? Have you done anything? We've been playing D&D a lot, but that's something we do anyways. I've discovered that I now have lower back pain for no reason. That's just a
You're
thing.
old.
I guess, but it's just like that's just how it is now. I wake up and it hurts.
Yep.
Yep, there we are.
It's okay. We're in Michigan. The marijuana is legal for all.
I don't. It doesn't really help me that much with my back. I don't know. Like I was just stretching, and like I've never had back problems in my life, save one time I like strained it doing like I think I was lifting something and taking it down the stairs. The other day I woke up. I was cuddling the dog in bed. I woke up and I got up and I went oh, and now it just hurts.
You're turning into a dad, but you don't have a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't
you're
want
getting
one.
you're getting a dad personality.
I guess.
Yeah.
Where I just have to every time I make a movement.
Yeah, I'm
And I
like
have
that,
to-
but emotionally.
Yours is more like, yeah. It's like you know how your car tire has that? It's like a tube, and then inside is like a little nipple thing that you gotta move it, and it releases the air.
Yeah.
It's like that for your stress.
Yeah.
It goes and then you let go of it, and then somehow it gets back in immediately. It's wild. Lots of good stuff has been happening lately. Lots of good stuff. The death tolls are rising. The infection rates are continuing. Guess what? Multiple states haven't banned church gatherings.
Yeah, especially in the South, because they're quote unquote essential services.
They're
which
not.
They are not.
They're not essential.
On a positive note, the mega church near us, Hopevale, they're doing all online services, even for Easter. I'm so concerned. This is interesting. This is going to be really interesting to watch, because when Easter rolls around, and especially in these southern conservative states, where there's a bunch of people who it's a perfect mix of religious and they believe God will protect them from a virus, and also they're right-wing people who think the virus is a hoax by Democrats and the media, and it's all hysteria. They're all going to congregate into these areas and infect each other, and it's going to cause a whole wave of this virus, and it's really going to be... I feel like it's going to affect those people more, which is so strange that Trump isn't doing anything, because these are the people most vulnerable to this are his voters.
Yeah.
So the response is kind of mind-boggling.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like it's killing...
It's been really interesting, because I got this part-time job. It's at a post office. My mom works at a post office, and she's like, hey, there's an opening for 1 day a week. No one wants the job because it's 1 day a week. Not getting enough hours. Perfect for me. And then I get access to insurance. And so that's good. That's the reason I got it, is for access to insurance. Because Hannah won't pay for mine. She's a terrible boss. So
wait, I'm the boss?
Yeah, you're a robber baron. So
I've misread this situation entirely.
Yeah. So Hannah's basically a landlord, so remember that. And then anyway, so I got this job, so I'm working with some people, relatively often, and many of them are older. Thankfully, my mom is not one of these people. She usually stays out of politics for the most part, but she is she's boomer age. She resents that a little bit, but that's how it is now. You're old. And the coworkers there that are of her age group are all Trump supporters. And not in like, they're not like thumping their chest about it. It's just how they talk, right?
They watch a lot of Fox News, and therefore the narratives they feel they should be
right.
parading around in public are the ones derived from right-wing news sources.
Yeah. And so I've heard a bunch of interesting snippets from these people, and I think maybe I'll save one a week, because I'm definitely going to hear these, and I'll bring them up every once in a while. But I have a back catalog right now, so let's go through a couple of them. So initially, when this started, all of them were like, this is overblown, okay? Keep in mind, one person there has MS, another person there has weekly dialysis, okay? These are both immunocompromised people. It's a big deal. And then one person has a husband who is totally immunocompromised, I think an ex-cancer patient or something like that. All of them being like, this isn't a big deal, okay? Fast forward a couple weeks, it gets bad. And one of the first things I heard was, you don't hear the Democrats bitching about the borders now, do you?
Because there's a disease.
What? Specifically in regards to Mexicans. By the way, we gave the disease to Mexico!
Yeah, there were 0 cases in Mexico up until recently, I believe. And part of it had to do with American tourists coming down for spring break.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's a completely different moral argument to say, hey, we should limit movement right now between as many places as we can, including individual homes and states and countries, because there's a very, how do I put this? I don't know if I want to say extremely virulent. It is virulent more so than the, I've talked to, again, I hate to be like, oh, my girlfriend, I'm turning into Ben fucking Shapiro, but my girlfriend is a PhD candidate, and we were talking about this, and she was telling me about how they measure the rate of transmission from person to person. This is like double that of the regular flu, just influenza, and it's not a flu, it's a different thing. But and the mortality rate is higher, obviously. It's very interesting to me how people just aren't taking this shit seriously.
Oh yeah. And then big things happen. And I know you don't watch sports a lot, but a huge deal is if any professional sports stop doing stuff.
Like all of them did. MLB.
So the first
canceled.
one was the NBA, and it's because Rudy Gobert, a French basketball player, it was amazing. There's this amazing moment where the day before he gets diagnosed and confirmed for COVID-19, he plays.
Is this the guy who
plays for the Utah Jazz?
Microphone?
He touched all the microphones, and he was laughing about it. And he walks off stage and goes to the locker room. The next day, they say, "By the way, you have been confirmed to have this disease." And then him and people like Donovan Mitchell, who you know, the names you don't know, but so the NBA is like, okay, fuck it, we're done. And then I think hockey did it next, and then the MLB, or vice versa, because the hockey was already playing at the same time as the NBA. They play at the roughly the same time. They both finish in the summertime in June. And the MLB starts right before the playoffs of basketball and hockey in the springtime. You've heard things like spring training. But the NFL is in its off season, and they had been, and of course, the NFL is the most conservative, white billionaire run sports thing we have in the world, really. Maybe you could say like FIFA. But in the States, this is easily by far the worst one of them, the most conservative. They, up until recently, were still going to do like a live NFL draft, which is where they take amateur players from college and draft them into the NFL.
Terrible idea.
Well, they're not anymore. They're doing it remotely, but they were like dead last in deciding that. And then WrestleMania still occurred.
Well, that's because Vince McMahon's a fucker.
Vince McMahon is a fucker. But they also recorded these early. And a lot of stuff, but there's a story about Roman Reigns, who I guess is a very popular, or the most popular wrestler right now. I don't watch wrestling.
I don't either. I'm vaguely aware of it.
But he's a 2-time leukemia survivor, and he's like, fuck this. I'm not doing any of this. I am immunocompromised. This is not safe for me. And so their biggest star isn't part of their biggest event of the year, and so it's
I've heard really bad things about...
Or maybe he was at WrestleMania, but he wasn't at other events. I can't quite remember, but...
I've heard really bad things about WWE and Vince McMahon and how they treat their employees. They should unionize. Fuck that shit. They're the talent. They're the reason people are coming. Wrestling's about big personalities. Don't get treated like shit. It's not worth it.
But what's that?
I was going to say the XFL came back this year.
They stopped, and they stopped too. Okay. They stopped earlier than the NFL was willing to. Because they were actually playing games, though, and the NFL was not. But yeah, so all sports have been shut off to the point where sports junkies, and I used to be a sports junkie, now I'm just a sports,
aficionado.
I really like sports. I play a lot of sports video games, but I don't need daily sports. March Madness was going to happen, the college basketball tournament, which I enjoy, especially if we're stuck in our houses. But the reason we're stuck in our houses causes that not to be able to happen. But yeah, I'd say like an aficionado, or if the Detroit sports teams got good, I would buy back in. But they haven't been good since like 2008 or something. But all of these things happened, and you started hearing conservative people start to take it more seriously, but not enough. They're still doing dumb shit. They're still going to church. They're still walking. Like, there are people like Officer Brandon Tatum, you know, the tokenized black officer that the right establishment likes to push out there anytime they have a, police officers are racist narrative that they have to fight. They go, well, we have a black friend and he says they're not, and then they win. So this guy is out here like this is a hoax. This is man-made. I have been tweeting him constantly to go like spend time in public and like lick handrails and stuff, but the guy won't. It's really weird. It's strange that he's staying in his home and saying all of these things are hoaxes. And then a great example of this is Boris Johnson. Just went into intensive care for this. The PM of the UK. And now, I don't wish ill on anybody, but if you don't think this is fucking hilarious, you're dead inside. This is a great, amazing, super fucking funny cause. He fucking like brought it on himself. It's just like if Donald Trump got sick with this. It's the same thing. It's just funny when it happens to people like this.
Boris Johnson was literally out here like a week and a half ago being like, oh yeah, of course I'm still shaking hands at the hospital.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yep.
There's this was fun too. This isn't a world leader or anything, but this is a story that came out today. A Virginia pastor named of Landon Stradlin has passed away of COVID-19 because he and some of his congregation went to Mardi Gras, not for fun, even though I'm surprised Mardi Gras even went on in terms of like, although that was a little bit earlier, but either way, they went to Mardi Gras because they thought that it's like evil and that the people there are debauched, which, hey, yeah, they are. That's why they're there. But he has died because he decided that it was a hoax. So that's unfortunate for his family, I guess. But that's again, good. I mean, there are consequences for your actions.
Yes. I don't know. Again, it reminds me of things I've heard at work where there's a lady who I like, and she said, basically, I'm surprised people aren't taking this more seriously. She was one of the people not taking it seriously, just recently. But now she's taking it very seriously, wearing gloves and like Lysol and spraying shit down. And I said out loud at that point, like, the president of the United States called this a hoax just over 30 days ago. You realize that, right? And she goes, well, I mean, who could have known? And I said, medical professionals, WHO, the CDC,
South Korea,
like what? And she's like, well,
Italy, fuck.
Yeah, and then she just stopped talking because obviously, I mean, you're wrong. Like I don't know how you support this president and don't also hold him accountable. Like, I just don't understand how you can be so on Team Republican that when a Republican does a bad thing, you don't go, you know what? That's a bad thing. We deserve better. Like, how do you not hold these people accountable? It seems like the thing you should be doing.
Because Republicans don't hold their politicians accountable. They fall in line and do what their leaders... Man. It's sad. This is an interesting bit of news. A tiger at the Bronx Zoo has tested positive for COVID-19.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. Not great that it can transmit to other animals, but apparently the animals are going to be fine. If this attacks dogs, I will one-man riot. I will take down the United States by myself.
All right. Speaking of tigers,
oh Jesus,
there's something I want to talk about. I did a video last week speaking about what I thought of Netflix's Tiger King,
Mm.
which is now the longest running #1 show on Netflix, which means it's been #1 the longest out of
Yeah.
any show that's been on Netflix. Jake, what did you think of Tiger King?
Tiger King, from start to finish, you should watch as a dark comedy. You should not watch this as anything. You should, like, if you just realize that these people, every single episode, are going to get slimier and worse than the episode before, it is the best way to watch it. I'd say the first 5 episodes are like super tragic, funny, dark, and then the last 2 episodes are kind of just it's sort of just like sad and a little depressing and frustrating. It is a wild fucking ride. It's probably one of my favorite things that's come out in a while, and they say they're doing a season 2, but Jeff Lowe, who is a bag of shit, very clearly a bag of shit, is one of the people producing it or something. I will say it is very odd that the person who is literally Scarface is the most normal person we talk about the whole time, easily. And then the other 2 people that are the most normal both have lost limbs.
I would like to see a season 2 get more into Doc Antle, because he has some weird stuff going on with his tiger sex cult harem.
Look, I don't mind what you got going on. Like, Joe had 2 husbands, neither of which think they're really that gay and just kind of wanted meth.
I don't care if people want to be in polyamorous gay marriages.
No, I don't. You know, and Doc Antle has an entire harem. Looks a lot like grooming.
Yeah.
Looks a lot like not healthy at all. Not good. Yeah. So I don't mind. And even Carol Baskin, that bitch Carol, she's got her husband on a fucking leash and shit. And she probably killed a guy.
Maybe.
There's lots of stuff going on there, man. It's a wild world.
I'm honestly on the fence as to whether or not she killed her husband.
I think she killed him.
Because his truck was, like, left at an airport. She would have either had to had an accomplice who would have driven her back, or she would have had to walk so far it would have been ridiculous and someone would have seen her.
Well, no, that night her brother, who was a cop, had his partner drive her home at 3 a.m. when she was out in the area. Yeah.
And also,
they say that in like episode 2 or 3.
The guy said to his friend, like, if I get away with this, it'll be whatever. He might have disappeared.
Hey,
he may have tried to fly somewhere and his plane went down over the Gulf of Mexico. Who knows?
It would be cool. It would be cool. Don't get me wrong. I am definitely here for the guy that faked his own death, but he was like a conservative, like, bajillionaire, and he left all the money to the woman he didn't like. I don't know. That said, it did sound like he probably deserved to be fed to tigers. So, I mean, like...
True.
You know, I'm not... There was a little bit of me leading up to where I thought, Carol, fuck you. And then by the end of it, I'm like, I just don't like you, but I think maybe you're okay? I can't tell. Everyone has definitely got a layer of slime on them that I don't want to interact with most of them. Except for, again, the 2 people that lost limbs. Saf, who I think they misgender throughout the entire thing and goes by he, him. I could be wrong.
Trans man.
Okay. And then the other guy who lost his legs in a fucking zipline accident.
By the way, why did they not go into that? What the fuck happened to that zip line? I want to know.
He fell off the zip line and broke his legs.
I want to see that documentary about
the zip
guy
line
missing
guy?
his legs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those 2 people are the only redeemable people in this whole thing, and the third most redeemable is the guy who sawed someone up and hid the body. Like literal Scarface. It's crazy. I don't know, like, we're a little bit behind the curve here because it came out a couple weeks ago at this point, and most people have seen it, but it's still fucking #1 on Netflix US. And if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. It's like I don't like reality TV and I do like documentaries. This mixes the two in a way that it was very satisfying to watch. I don't know how to describe really what you're seeing on screen besides a cascade of errors and bad judgment and drug use and exploitation and raw unfettered capitalism and capitalist endeavors, and oh boy, I don't even know what to take away from it. There's no lesson. What did you learn from this?
You shouldn't fuck with cats.
Okay.
Big cats. Congress people are really easy to schmooze if you have an exotic animal and willing to take photographs with them. Other than that, that's about all I learned.
That's it? That's all you learn.
Don't hire people. Oh, don't do meth. That's also
meth will make you fuck Joe Exotic for some reason.
Yeah.
You can find a better drug dealer than Joe Exotic, can't you?
Not even a drug dealer. If you want like a drug daddy that's gonna fuel your meth lifestyle, I think you could do better.
You could find a drug mommy too.
Some of those guys were pretty attractive.
Yeah, I'd say the one that fucking shot himself was pretty good looking. He was I forget his name at this point, but I don't know. And then Joe Exotic's poor eyebrow ring, just holding on the best it can at all times. It is and now he's got COVID. Apparently, I haven't heard an update of his health, but he has it in prison right now.
Yeah, I don't think very well of Joe Exotic, but I don't think he deserves to fucking die of coronavirus.
Yeah.
Fucking drowning in his own mucus.
The saddest part of this was when he realized that he kept the chimpanzees away from each other from hugging them. You remember that right at the end? He's like, did I deny them this for 10 years? Yes, you fucking did.
Yes, you idiots. What the fuck do you think?
Well, he was on a lot of meth again. He had 2 husbands to look after. By the way, did you see the one guy, his first husband got teeth?
Yeah.
He looks a lot better. Better. Good for him.
Yes,
I wish him well.
Hope he stays away from the meth. He probably has a little bit of extra money from the documentary.
Yeah.
Please don't spend it on the meth.
Don't do the meth, kids. That might be the #1 lesson. Just don't do meth. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up about that? You seem very excited to talk about it.
No, I think that's it. I covered it mostly in the video I did. I just wanted to see what you thought. I don't know.
It's a fun one. I've been catching up on Ozark.
I've never seen it. I've heard Jason Bateman's really good in it, and he directs.
It's really good. He does his episodes that he directs are I think the most impactful ones. He does a really good job, and it got sold to me as just Breaking Bad. It isn't. It isn't Breaking Bad. It's so different than Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is very. It's basically about 2 characters, right? It's about Walt and Jesse and kind of their back and forth and character study on Walt. This isn't a character study on Marty Byrde, the main character. It is kind of a. How do I describe it? It's almost more like Sopranos, where there's a main character, but all the characters get hard spotlights.
Yeah,
it's more like that. And the problems in Breaking Bad are not the problems in Ozark. I really recommend it. The 3 seasons are out. It's also up there. I think it's number 2 or 3 on Netflix. Last time I looked at it, so that's been really good. Have you been binging anything on Netflix? Or any of the other services. Westworld's been pretty good lately, too.
I still never watched season 2 of Westworld.
Oh, really?
So,
good. Really?
Yeah, I know. I need to catch up on it. I'll probably wait till this newest season is over. I watched Tiger King, obviously. I've been watching Mad Men. I don't think anything new or stuff I haven't really seen before. I've been showing...
15th watch through of The Next Generation.
I'm watching Star Trek Picard somewhat more slowly now because I heard it isn't very good at the end, and based on what I heard, it's a little yikes. But We'll see. I'll
Okay.
finish it and then maybe do a review or something. I've been watching movies with my girlfriend who's been in town and just watching stuff we haven't seen before, or she hasn't seen, or I haven't seen. So,
What's the best recent one you've watched that you hadn't seen before? Like, what stands out?
let me think for a second.
Because I've been watching some movies too. I just watched Knives Out, and I think that might be one of my favorite movies in a long time. Just from it's very it's. I think Ryan Anderson kind of took a Wes Anderson or Ryan Johnson. I'm sorry, Ryan Johnson, the director of The Last Jedi and some other stuff, including one of the best episodes of Breaking Bad. I think was Fly was his episode, I believe.
Yeah, did you know that's the lowest rated episode of Breaking Bad?
Really? It's one of my favorite. Okay.
It was different. It's a bottle episode, and I think a lot of people didn't like it for that reason.
It is. I think it's fun. Anyway, but yeah, he directed Knives Out, and I think he wrote it. So good. Daniel Craig. Some people said they didn't like Daniel Craig's performance in it, but I think it's great because he has this deep Georgian Southern molasses in the mouth drawl the whole time. And he's a private investigator. Sounds a lot like House of Cards, the first couple seasons with Kevin Spacey. Sounds a lot like that, almost more put on. And it has Ana de Armas, who is dating Ben Affleck in real life. Good for him. And it is just a really good movie. It's a whodunit, and then it isn't, and then it's a caper of like it's like a I don't know. It's such a really good detective movie. It kind of runs like Clue at the first half, and then it's like got a manic pace. It's got really good acting. It's really punchy, very Wes Anderson-y in its absurdity, and almost like Aaron Sorkin in the quick delivery of all the lines and stuff. It's really really good, and it's visually great. Chris Evans is in it. What's the lady that was in the Parent Trap, or was it Freaky Friday, and also the Halloween movies?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. It's got oh man, it's just got so many people in it. It's a really 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 good movie, and I think everyone should watch Knives Out. It's available on Prime right now for like $5 to rent.
You know what movie isn't a masterpiece, but I was surprised by that I have watched in the past week?
All right.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, is that actually good? Did you spend $20 on? No, you didn't.
No,
you
no,
didn't.
no, no.
You didn't.
You
do
know
that.
I did not.
Yeah, no.
I think it's worth watching at least once. Like, it's not groundbreaking.
They're not going to make a sequel, right? It's not that.
They are.
They are? Did it get enough money?
It made more money than Detective Pikachu. It's the highest.
It made more money than Detective Pikachu is a pretty good movie.
I think Detective Pikachu's the better movie, honestly. But Sonic the Hedgehog did make more money. It's fun seeing Jim Carrey act like 90s Jim Carrey. Yeah. I think he's a good choice for Robotnik. I've never been the biggest fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. I like the games, but like there are people who get super into it.
The first two games and then Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 were like, that's it. Yeah. Those are the games that you play. Sonic and Knuckles isn't that great.
Sonic Mania, the more recent 2D
was that good?
Was pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can make your own character in that one, right?
No, that was Sonic
Worlds.
Sonic Forces or something like that. That's like a 3D one, but Sonic Mania is done in the style of 1 and 2.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a fun, stupid kids movie. It's not great. I also watched Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn movie.
Did you like that?
I
heard people say that it was better than Wonder Woman, which is surprising.
I'd watch Birds of Prey over Wonder Woman probably. Yeah? It's more fun.
So the best DC movie. Because you like Shazam a lot, which I don't get. It was corny.
I think Shazam's good. I don't love it, but I thought it was entertaining.
I just don't like the concept of Shazam, and I don't think it was a good villain. Like, it wasn't that compelling. I liked the kids interacting. I didn't like really anything else.
I thought Birds of Prey was entertaining. The villain, Ewan McGregor, plays Black Mask.
Oh, okay.
And
that's kind of a cool casting for Black Mask.
He plays a very gay Black Mask,
Oh no!
who may or may not be fucking Victor Zsasz.
That's kind of hot. Let's do that.
So I don't know. I thought it was entertaining.
Victor Zsasz is such a strange pull.
Jared Leto doesn't show up at all, despite the
Yeah.
fact that they talk about the Joker a decent amount,
Yeah.
and I'm glad for that. If it's worth watching at least once. It's not Suicide Squad. It's not garbage, which is high praise for a DC movie lately. Unless you're the Joker, in which case Joker was a quite good movie.
Yeah, but Joker's like this.
That's a different
They're doing. They
thing
said
entirely.
they want to do a sequel, which
That'd be good.
I will take. And there's talk that the Robert Pattinson Batman will be in the same universe, so
I'd be fine with that.
I would be so excited.
That doesn't surprise me, considering Joker made like $1 billion on such a low budget. There were some pictures that came out from the shooting of the Batman. I think it looks pretty good. I like the Batmobile design.
And you know what? I don't hate the. It was a little corny to me in concept, but it makes a lot of sense for the character to take the gun that his parents were murdered with and make it his bat symbol thing. It's corny, but also I think and I hope they're going with the angle that the dude is obsessed.
Maybe I'll see how they handle it. It strikes me as a little bit like the Jared Leto Damaged tattoo, where it's like
it's incredibly on the nose, but
a little on the nose.
But I mean, so was a lot of the Joker movie, but they leaned into it hard. And if you buy in and you go, okay, well, Batman he's pretty crazy. Like he is literally obsessed with this. He's obsessed with this concept of self-perfection in the pursuit of fucking up crime. Like, yeah, I think I'm for that. So I really hope they go hard with that one. I think Robert Pattinson's an underrated actor because of the Twilight thing. Much like well, I can't think of his name. Harry Potter. What the fuck is his name?
Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe. I was just say Daniel Day-Lewis. Very different. One's a Mohican. So, yeah, Daniel Radcliffe is cursed by this as well. But if you've seen any of his other stuff, like especially Swiss Army Man, I think is one of his best roles. Guns Akimbo is supposed to be wild, but I haven't seen it. Have you heard of this movie?
He does
he gets guns surgically attached to his arms.
Doesn't he do like the thing that Christian Bale does in that movie Equilibrium, where he's like karate but with guns?
Well, he doesn't mean to have them attached to him. It's like forced on him. So apparently that's pretty good. He's done some other good stuff. Like is it the Young Doctor, that miniseries with Mad Men actor? Is it Young Doctor? Is that what it's called?
Oh, the it's like the Diary of a Young
Diary of a Young Physician, maybe. It's something like that. Anyway, he does a really good job in that as well.
Diary of a Young a Young Doctor's Notebook.
The Young Doctor's Notebook.
I believe it's a BBC production.
Gotcha.
If not, it's at least British. I'm not sure. John Hamm and Daniel Radcliffe both play the same character, which is kind of hilarious to me.
Why is my dog barking? Am I being assailed? No, that's just someone that wants to like do stuff. I don't have time for that shit. So they want to like rake my fucking lawn for money. No. Get out of here. Get out of here, rakers of lawns.
Did you see
Do you have people that drop by your house to do that kind of shit?
No. I don't really have kids over on this side
It's
of
not
the
kids. They're two adult people. One of them's smoking a cigarette.
Oh, yeah, I had one person who came and that's their business, but
I don't want you. If I wanted you to do that, I would contact you.
I understand. They're probably poor and need the money.
Well, it drives me nuts. Don't knock on my door. I hate that. My door is not for knocking. My door is for me to walk in and out of.
Okay. So you know Sam Raimi, who did the Evil Dead movies and also Spider-Man. He is apparently pegged to be doing Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness.
Wait, I thought that was already under production.
I think it was under pre-production, and there was a different director attached, the same guy who did the first Doctor Strange, but he dropped out. And it looks like Sam Raimi's going to be...
I don't know if I like that.
I do. It's supposed to be a little more like a horror movie, as much as a Marvel movie can break from
I guess
formula.
I guess because of the evil. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I'm
makes
thinking
sense.
more Evil Dead Sam Raimi, not necessarily
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Sam
Yeah, but I'm
Raimi.
worried that he's going to try to do Spider-Man Sam Raimi, and while that is funny, it isn't good.
Yeah, we could have a whole separate discussion about our views of the Sam
But
Raimi
Sam Raimi
Spider-Man movies.
Spider-Man, I don't really like him, man.
I'm not a huge fan, but I get what he's going for. It's
And he
not.
doesn't do it. It's just corny. It's not.
I like the new ones better because that fits more in line of how I see the character in the comics. Whereas the Sam Raimi's almost made him like a, how do I put this?
An emo bitch?
No, Peter Parker. That's how Peter Parker is. He gets depressed because he has so many problems.
No, but it wasn't depression. It was emo. It was the facade of depression. It wasn't depression.
Everything is so grandiose in the Sam Raimi movies, and that's just never how I've seen most of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He tends to do street level crime and then some supervillains. Most of his supervillains are bank robbers. Like, he's not world-ending threat guy typically. So
yeah, I like you know what, and I like in the modern Marvel movies that while he is part of this Avengers team, because he is part of the Avengers, he's not been like the one that does like anything crazy. He had one good moment where he was doing the Infinity Gauntlet thing, and then he gets his ass kicked in that one movie. But besides that, he's just kind of been part of it, and I kind of dig that they haven't been like, here's our biggest, like easily one of the most visible Marvel heroes of all time, and they didn't just go, well, now he's super powerful, here you go. Like, I even liked Far From Home, the Jake Gyllenhaal, just like, it's just illusions and stuff. That was a good way to do Mysterio, by the way. We haven't been able to talk about that much, but
I don't know if you remember, we talked about this a while back where long time ago, this was probably like right after the first MCU Spider-Man movie Homecoming came out, and I had the idea that over the course of the Spider-Man trilogy, what they should do is take him from ground level hero to like A tier Avenger leader type person.
I think they're going to.
And I said how they should do that is because in the first Homecoming movie, they didn't really mention the spider sense.
Yeah.
So I said what they should do is over the course of the movies, he should get more in touch with his spider sense, and in doing so becomes this amazing hero who can react to anything.
Right, because
and
it's precog. Yeah.
And that's literally what they did in in Far From Home, is they set up they call it the Peter Tingle. But it is his spider sense, and by the end of that, that's how he defeats Mysterio. So I don't know. I like what they're doing with it.
Yeah, I do too. It's sad that we don't have any new stuff coming out. I kind of wish that something like The Mandalorian could have been pushed back. And I know they couldn't have known that this was going to happen, but I could use something like that, or a new Marvel something happening right now.
I kind of wish they just threw Black Widow on Disney Plus. I'm like, I want to see Black Widow in the theaters. That's fine, but I would have been fine if they're like, okay, just put it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been bad optics to be like, well, you know what? It isn't even their first female-led superhero movie. Captain Marvel was, so fuck it, put it on Disney Plus.
To be fair, this one's been pushed back forever. Yeah, I don't know. I need some sort of Marvel content. It feels like it's been a long time.
This is because of the pushing back of stuff. This is going to be the first year in years Marvel has only had one movie come out, and that'll be assuming Black Widow comes out in September now, like they're saying.
Are they doing the are the other series coming out on Disney Plus, the Marvel series this year?
I think WandaVision is in the fall.
Jeez.
Yeah, they really
like
should have
a summertime without it. I need my fix, corporate overlords.
Yeah,
they've been slow dripping, and suddenly I'm without it, and I need it. It's like caffeine. I need it. All right, so we're in the last 10 minutes of our fledgling quarantine podcast. Is there anything else pressing that we need to get through?
Did you ever watch Reno 911?
A little bit.
It's coming back.
Why?
Because I don't know, every series is coming back now.
But why, though?
I like Reno 911. I think those guys are really funny. It's like 90% improv, and I respect the hell out of that. I think
Yeah,
it's
no,
hilarious.
it's fine. You know, Nick Swardson's gonna be there. That's his whole life has been 3 episodes of Rito 911.
That's not true. He had his own series on Comedy Central for like 3 episodes before it got canceled.
You know, I was just talking about with Sarah the other day is Malibu's Most Wanted.
Oh yeah, Jamie.
What's
His name?
He had the something experience. Yeah.
Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy. There needs to be an analysis of this movie. It is a rough one. It is a rough one, but it still has one of the best posters in the whole world. And it's whatever the candidate's name is, Jamie Kennedy's father is down with the bitches and hoes for his candidacy.
Have you voice crack. Have you seen the other movie he did, Kicking It Old School? That's so bad.
No.
Oh, is
that also one where he has an excuse to do a urban black voice the whole time?
I don't think he does. I think the premise of that one is as a kid he was breakdancing and he got into a coma, and then he wakes up in like the early 2000s, the mid 2000s,
and breakdancing isn't cool anymore.
Yeah, but he gets his old crew together to win some competition.
That's the conflict.
And that's the one joke, is he's from the 80s. It's like Frozen Caveman Lawyer, but with breakdancing.
I feel like we need to get into the screenwriting business. This cannot be that hard.
You'd think.
It's so easy.
If the screenwriter of Bright can get work,
that's what. Oh man, I forget his name at this point. But isn't he also a scumbag?
Oh yeah. Something Landis. Yeah. His dad got some kids killed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just you got to know somebody. I think that's it. You just got to know people. Who do I know in Hollywood?
I don't think you know anyone in Hollywood.
Who do I know? Hey, if you're from Hollywood and you actually work there in like a studio, give me a big contract to write a screenplay. I'll write Air Bud 8. The Ocho.
They've made more than 8 Air Bud movies.
That's not true, is it?
Let me look it up. Are we counting the ones when the
No
kids
Air Buddies. Air Buddies are not Air Bud movies because that's the puppies.
Okay. Then you might be right. Air Bud Golden Receiver.
Yeah.
Air Bud World Pup.
Okay.
Air Bud 7th Inning Fetch. Air Bud Spikes Back.
Okay. Wait. Let me guess the sports. So Air Bud basketball. You said Golden Receiver football.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
World Pup.
That's soccer.
Yeah. 7th Inning Fetch.
That's obviously baseball.
Spikes Back.
Spikes volleyball?
Volleyball.
Spikes?
Yes. Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Volleyball. Beach volleyball.
What? That's not okay. All right. We've declined. Why can't you just do basketball twice? Anyways.
And then you have the Air Buddies series, which is Air Buddies, Snow Buddies, Space Buddies, Santa Buddies, Spooky Buddies, Treasure Buddies, and Super Buddies.
This makes me want to die. That's not good.
And then
someone cough in my mouth. This is terrible.
And then those had spin-offs: The Search for Santa Paws and Santa Paws 2, The Santa Pups. What was up with the 90s with wanting to see animals do sports things? Remember MVP, most valuable most vertical primate?
Most vertical.
Because he was he did skateboarding.
Oh, I don't know. Do you remember Brink? That's not animals, but it was a Disney movie.
Yeah. Oh, Brink. Most valuable. Oh, first it was most valuable primate, and he was a soccer player, or not a hockey player.
Yeah.
And then it was MVP, most vertical primate, and he did skateboarding.
Does Mighty Ducks count as an animal sports movie? The answer is
Are we
no.
counting Emilio
Aw.
as no?
Poor Emilio. What's he doing? What's the last thing
You know what,
Emilio Estevez did?
I will tell you what Emilio is doing.
Okay.
He's
Cocaine?
working on pre-production on the Mighty Ducks series on Disney Plus.
You shut the fuck up right now.
I am not
Are
kidding.
they redoing the Mighty Ducks?
They're doing a sequel to the Mighty Ducks with
I
Emilio
am
Estevez.
unironically going to watch the absolute fuck out of the Emilio Estevez-led Mighty Ducks series. Are you kidding me?
You know what else they're doing?
Ducks fly together.
Yes, they're doing
Knuckle Puck.
They're doing a Honey I Shrunk the
But
Kids
is he
series.
coming back?
Rick Moranis is coming out of
Rick
retirement.
Moranis is coming back. He's finally over the death of his wife after 35 years.
I think his kids are well grown out of the house at this point, which is why he retired when his wife died, so he could take care of his kids. And I cannot even imagine the size of the check Disney must have written him to get him to come out of his house.
I just want Rick Moranis. Honestly, I would watch a Ghostbusters series with Rick Moranis and what's her face, the secretary.
Yeah.
Finding new Ghostbusters, but having to do it themselves.
They'll probably show up in the new Ghostbusters movie coming out.
Oh yeah, that's a Ghostbusters movie.
The one where it's Ghostbusters, but the writers, the producers were like, hey, you know that Stranger Things? Make a Stranger Things, but with the Ghostbusters.
Can we just get an honest attempt at a movie?
No, it has to be cynical, goddammit.
Why?
It has to be a mix of things that are already popular and recognizable.
But we don't... Ghostbusters is that. Ghostbusters is that. We don't need the other stuff.
But then they tried that with the last Ghostbusters.
And it was bad because it had bad writing.
It was... I do not like that movie.
I don't either. I thought the first 15 minutes looked promising, and then after that I just groaned for 90 minutes.
We did a review of that at one point, and I think our main criticism, which I stand by, is the problem
it's a comedy movie.
The original Ghostbusters is a comedy set in a horror universe.
Yes.
All the horror is played mostly straight, except
Bill Murray doesn't give a shit.
The main characters are from a comedy, but they're in this horror universe and commenting on it, and it's that juxtaposition.
Let's write a Ghostbusters screenplay, dude. We're done. We're gonna nail it.
And then in the new one, it's comedy actors in a comedy universe, and it falls incredibly flat. I don't know.
Are the Wachowskis actually related? We could be like the Wachowskis or the Coens. Are they actually related?
The Wachowski sisters.
Is it Wachowski?
I don't know. It's one of them.
I think it's
Oh, you know what I did watch that I thought was pretty good? I watched Sense8.
Oh, did you like that
series? It was pretty good. As one of the main characters is an actual trans woman, and it's like really good representation, which isn't surprising
Obviously,
because the Wachowskis are both trans women.
Yeah.
So,
is it Beyond the Loop just came out on Prime?
I've not heard of it.
That's supposed to be it's the stories are based on like I think sci-fi paintings of a particular artist, and then they write a story about it, and it's supposed to be very interesting.
Sorry, what's it called again? Tales from the Loop.
Tales from the Loop. I haven't watched it yet. But I guess it's supposed to be. It sounds like that Philip K. Dick series.
Electric Dreams.
Yeah, sounds a little bit like that. Although Philip K. Dick is a little more dark than a lot of other writers, but could be stuff.
Simon Stalenhag.
Yeah. Anyways, we should write a Ghostbusters screenplay.
I don't think we have the ability or the talent.
Well, I think one of us does, and the other one is you, and I'm going to drag you along because you have good ideas. You just don't have the drive to type.
That's usually the problem. I'm decent at certain things, and creatively I can get there, but I have no self-confidence.
See?
You have to drag me along to success.
Yes. Yes. You're a great ideas person. You just need someone to type. And I got this. What would be last thing, and we're gonna slowly over the course of these podcasts, we're going to add a scene to the screenplay of the Ghostbusters remake, okay? How does the Ghostbusters remake open? What is the opening shot? That is the question.
Let me think how the original Ghostbusters opens. It opens with the New York Public Library.
Yep.
I don't want to just strictly revisit that.
I think if you open with the New York Public Library and it's all normal, quiet shots of the library working properly, and then you zoom in on Bill Murray just reading a book or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then he gets spooked by Dan Aykroyd, and it's not actually like a ghost.
Okay, I have an idea. Here's
Okay,
here's what it is. Okay. So this is going to take place in the same universe as the original Ghostbusters. It isn't a reboot.
Yes.
It's one of those, continuation things. Okay, it's going to start with maybe a shot of the New York skyline, and then we're going to pan down, or we're going to zoom in, or whatever, and we're going to see the Ghostbusters firehouse building, but it's been condemned.
Okay.
It's old and whatever, and we see a group of kids. This is where you get maybe one of these kids can show up later. Who knows? But anyway, you get these kids and they're all daring each other. Oh, go in there. It's haunted.
That's a good one.
And then they break in. They start looking at
and
stuff.
Do they break the thing? Do they break the thing?
I was gonna say maybe we see some stuff from like the different movies, kind of sitting in with cobwebs.
Fan
Maybe
service.
the painting from the end of Ghostbusters 2, where they're all in like it's like a Renaissance painting of the Ghostbusters. Maybe the Ecto 1 parts are there somewhere. Anyway, they go down to the basement and they're like, "What's this thing?" And it's the ghost containment chamber.
Wait,
and they're like,
but why wouldn't Egon have taken care of this?
Egon died. Like in real life. Anyway. And none of the other Ghostbusters have the technical knowledge to know what to do, but they assume if we just leave it alone, it's fine.
Ooh, maybe they even lock the door, but the kids get in?
Sure. And they get in, and they do something for some reason, and it breaks, and all the ghosts escape. And the kids scream, and it as they do it, similar to how in the
but like in D minor, like it's spooky. There we go. We nailed it. Okay, that's the opening scene to Ghostbusters. We will build on this as we continue the series. So we'll be back. I'm fine to do this as many days a week as you want to. So
that's fine.
We'll see what happens. We have new stuff to talk about every day. We are forced to stay inside. Although on Saturdays I'm essential, so that's good. But yeah, we also do. If you want more content from us, we also do a D&D show.
Real quick, New York City may temporarily bury coronavirus victims in parks, says a lawmaker.
Parks, the park.
There are multiple parks in New York City.
There's only one in New York City. We all know that.
There's not.
We all know that.
All right, sorry. Continue with the shilling of our various things.
Don't bury people in parks. Bad look. Bury them in New Jersey, where all the other bodies are. So, if you want more content from us, if you're sick and tired of staying at home, boy, do I have stuff to binge for you. We do 2 different D&D series, one of which Hannah runs. It's called eLive. It is a sort of post-punk, steampunky sort of dystopian thing that runs as a prequel to our main D&D campaign called Charisma Saves, in which I run, and Hannah plays a wizard named the Professor, who is totally not a ripoff of something else. But
okay, Hansel Solem.
Yeah, no, we all start somewhere. So no, it's very it's very good. I think it's the thing I'm most proud of that we all do together. It's a good time, and I promise you, if you like our chick tracks, if you like just listening to us talk, and if you like any sort of movies that have to do with adventure and intrigue, you don't have to know anything about Dungeons and Dragons. It will be accessible to you. We have professional art. We have, we have decent production value. It's good. I think you're gonna like it a lot, and we put a lot into it. And no matter whatever self-deprecating thing comes out of Hannah's face next, know that it is something that I genuinely enjoy doing, and that we all like to do together.
I actually wasn't going to be self-deprecating.
Oh, nice.
I was going to be nice. I was going to say, I know you don't want to necessarily toot your own horn, but the last episode was written fucking amazingly.
I didn't write it, but...
Well, you know what I mean.
Okay.
The way in which you describe things in those situations, and you put us in very emotionally driven situations the last episode, and there was a lot of good character content there, I think.
I'm glad you liked it.
So...
Well, good. So, yeah, I'm very proud of that. It's not just because of Hannah tooting my own horn here. I think all of the people do a really good job with it, and it would genuinely mean a lot if you check that out. There will be links in the little post screen here at the end that are probably up like right now-ish. So, I'm done. I'm good. It was lovely. This is our quarantine podcast that will run until we can be together once again.
Did we already say our Twitters?
No.
My Twitter is Hannah Reloaded.
Mine's Papa Birdchick, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
I also have a transition fund for my transition. It's in the name. Link in the description.
There you go. And then I have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/actualjake, that you can come hang out with. We do a lot of other stuff if, again, you're starved for content. A lot of fun over there. So, we love you deeply. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll be back soon. And I have an idea. I want to overanalyze a movie. And I think I'm going to do that.
Are you going to analyze the balls at the end?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Have a wonderful day. Did you salute them?
Yes.